Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. It is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Fausto Papo. Fausto will be leading our upcoming series of Blackboard Ultra training webinars over the next few weeks, and today he will be guiding us through Blackboard navigation and communication. So it's 10 o'clock right now, and I guess we'll start our session. So please welcome Fausto.
Hello, thank you very much for the introduction. My name is Fausto Pupo, Senior Educational Consultant at Anthology for the past 8 years. It is 8 years today, actually. I am happy to be conducting these sessions on Learn Ultra. I'm sharing my screen. This is what you're likely to see, or this looks like what you're likely to see when you log in and access the platform. This on the left is the Ultra-based navigation menu. And from here, you will be able to access several very useful tools. Let's take a look at each one, okay? And then we'll talk about how to communicate with your students. The very first option is the institution page. And from here, normally what you can find is important information and resources that your institution has made available to you, okay? What you find on this page will depend on your profile, which means that the admin or whoever is in charge of populating this page with content can target specific modules to different types of users, like students from a certain program, or faculty, or staff, etc. Then you will find your profile page. Make sure you upload a photograph here for your profile. This is me a couple years ago at Niagara Falls National Park. This is a US site, and as you can tell, the picture was taken in the middle of a fall with from the tree leaves there. That was a very nice place. Here, you and your students will be able to edit some of these items. Okay. Oh, thank you. Someone was congratulating me on my work anniversary on the chat. As I said, not all of these fields will necessarily be available or editable. That depends on your institution and your system admin. But whenever it looks like a link, okay, you can see it.
Well, they're going over blind.
Please don't forget to keep your microphones muted. Okay, thank you very much. If it looks like a link, then it means that you can add it. Also, when you hover over it, you will see this icon, okay, this little pencil there, which means that if you click there, then you can customize it. Once again, whatever options you find here will depend on what has been configured by your system admin. From here, okay, probably the most important are the global notification settings. There are 3 ways in which you and your students can be notified about important events and due dates. To begin with, you have the language. Oh, sorry, over here. To begin with, you have the stream notifications. And basically, if you click here, you can determine what you will see on the activity stream. Here you will find anything that is due or happening today, all recent due dates and events, and if applicable, any upcoming events and due dates as well. All you need to do in order to configure what you see there, and your students have the ability to configure this themselves as well. All you need to do is click on the first option. And as you can see, you have the 3 types of notifications. Here I am an admin, so I have access to everything. like student alerts. You will find this one here. And if you have a checkbox here and a number in parentheses, it means that there are sub elements here. All you need to do is click on the little downward pointing arrow here on the right. And as you can see, you can be notified about new activity data. Okay, so you can identify those students who are participating or those who may need help. And as you will see in this and the upcoming sessions, there is a lot of data and information about your students, their performance, and their engagement. So you can always stay on top of things. Also, if grade data is available, you can compare grades with activity levels. There's usually a direct correlation between student participation and engagement and their performance when it comes to grades. Notifications on low overall grades, missed due dates alerts, and last access, all three of which are key performance and engagement indicators that can give you a pretty good idea of who might need your help. Then, okay, this is available to faculty only. Then you have discussion activity. So whether there is activity on your responses, anybody replied to you, activity on responses that I have replied to, responses from instructors for followed discussions. You can, when we see that section, we'll take a look at that, and replies for followed discussions as well. Then you have my grades and activity. This is available to students. And once again, okay, they can get information about how they're doing in terms of their grades, like whether their grade is low or at risk, or whether their grade has dropped, or they have a low course activity, and so forth. New calendar event, journal activity. Okay, learning journals are also a very useful tool, and we'll have a session on that one. And then you have wiki activities, but wikis are not available in Ultra. Okay, that's why I have it checked, unchecked here. Okay, they apply to learn original courses. It's like a legacy tool. Then you can also get email notifications. By default, you will get one a day, usually towards the end of the day. For example, in my case, I get my my notifications at about 10 p.m. my time, which is about 11 your time. I'm in a different time zone right now. So here you have notifications about new gradable items, new grades and feedback, new messages, new discussion messages, and so forth. You could also decide to get an email right away whenever one of these things happen. Nevertheless, that could end up with, depending on the activity level, like lots of emails, and you might end up missing something important. So the recommendation in general is to get or set this to one email a day at the end of the day, and then select only the items that you deem important or things that you really want to be notified about. And then if your institution is using the app, the student app, you can also configure push notifications within the app. Okay? Each type of notification, as you can see here, has different options, with stream notifications giving you the most options. Once you have made any changes, do not forget to save. Another one that you can add from here is a pronunciation of your name. As you can see, my name is not necessarily that common. Okay, Fausto is my first name. Pupo, my last name, it comes from Italy, just like my great-grandparents. So, one thing that you can do, let me delete this one, is record name pronunciation. Just click over here. Now I have 20 seconds to record. Fausto Pupo.
Fausto Pupo.
Okay, sounds pretty good. So you can leave that. And of course, as you can see, you have other items that you can edit, but once again, it depends on what your system admin has enabled. Once you finish, just click on Done, and that's it. Then, oh, by the way, if you have any questions at any time, please feel free to use a microphone, or you can raise your hand, okay? As well. So, what else can you find here? Okay, you have a global courses page, and from here there are two different views. Okay, you have this tile view in which you can see your course cards, and as you can see, some of the courses here have this little purple star, which means that I have added those courses to my favorites. In this case, because of my job, I have lots and lots and lots of courses. And if that is the case, if you have several courses that have been assigned to you, then those that you want to access more easily or faster, you can click on the little star here, and then they will be moved to the top of the page. If you no longer need one, all you need to do is click on the little star, purple star, and it'll be sent back with the rest of your courses. There is a filter here. You can filter by term, all terms, current courses, etc. You can filter by courses you teach, courses you're taking. Maybe you're faculty member, but you're also taking one or more courses, let's say at a graduate level program or something. Courses that are open, courses that are private, and we'll talk more about that later on. But when a course is set to private, it means that you have access to it, but your students do not. Okay, normally that is a state when you're still working on it or before the term begins. So the students should not have access to it. When they're open, of course, anybody, you and your students, can access the course. And when the courses have been completed, it means that the students have read-only access. Okay, there may be courses from a previous term, and students can always go back to those and check out the content, but they can no longer submit anything, any assignment, take any tests, or post anything on the discussions. Okay, they're for review only. Now, core states, normally that is something that the institution takes care for you, okay, takes care of for you, so you do not really need to worry too much about. You can also indicate up to how many items, courses in this case, you want to show. And of course, if you're in a hurry, you can always type in a keyword here and go directly to that course. This is one view. Another view, it's like the list view, looks like this, no images. By the way, you can edit and configure these images, as I will show you later on. But that's for a different session. But if we have time today, I'll show you how to do that. Now, here, some of the courses have the same color, but that is simply because I have way more courses than a faculty member normally would. And the idea there, okay, is that Ultra courses are color-coded. The colors are assigned randomly. And the idea is for you to be able to easily identify events, okay, on the global calendar or grades or messages. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. So if, let's say, I go to the global calendar from out here, you also have course-specific calendar within your Ultra courses. This is what it looks like. This is a day view. But if I go to the month view, as you can see, different due dates and events from different courses are highlighted, okay, in different colors. So if you know, okay, that one of your courses is orange and another one is purple and another one is, let's say, blue, okay, from here you can very easily tell what corresponds, what event or due date corresponds to which course. So for the calendar, both global, okay, which you access from here, and course calendars, you have three views. By default, it'll be the day view. And as you can see, okay, hopefully you can see these pale gray dots here. Basically, okay, it means that during that week, okay, you have some event or due date. And then you also have a due dates calendar. Now remember, your students have all of these tools as well. Once again, okay, the due dates calendar is color coded, so it is easy to identify which event or which due date corresponds to which course. Then you have the messages, global messages tool here. And if you see a number, that is a number of, in this case, it's 26. That's a number of unread messages. So all you need to do is click there, again, color coded, and you will see a little number next to the course name. That indicates, okay, which or how many messages you haven't read yet. All you need to do is click on the corresponding course, and it'll take you to the messages page for that course. So as you can see, this is very practical. You don't have, if you're teaching several courses or if you're taking several courses, you don't have to click on each one to see whether you have any messages that you need to read or reply to, etc. You can tell from here right away. And also from here, if you want to send messages to one or more of your students, like in demo 1 course, all you need to do is click right here on the right where it says new message. This is what the messages tool looks like. So from here, sorry, you can select one or more students, okay? Also, you can select by profile. So you have all course members, all instructors, all students. Myself here, and here, let's send a message to Nina Hagen. And as you can see, you also have the ability to send an email copy, which is a recommended practice because in that way you don't have to wait until your students access a platform, okay, to find out that they have a new message. Most people nowadays, even though email is not as popular and heavily used as it used to be, kind of, most people still have their email accounts synchronized with their cell phones. So it's a good way to make sure that students can, or users in general, can read your messages. So from here, all you need to do is type your message here. And as you can see, sorry, you have all the most commonly used features and tools here, like the text style. You have different font sizes and types. Here, font types, font sizes, font color, and a few more options that we will explore in much more detail once on the next session. I think it is that we're going to be looking at how to create content. Yeah, sorry, I have a bit of a sore throat, but it's not too bad. So once you're ready, all you need to do is click on send and the message is gone. Also from here, you have a grades tab. Okay, let me check. No questions or comments. All right. Again, color coded. And from here, you can very easily check whether there is anything that needs your attention in a course. Like here, I have a graded discussion, and I have 3 students to grade. So all I need to do is click on 3 to grade. Oh, this is a Learn Original course, sorry. Here, I have a test. Okay, it's an extra credit column. So all I need to do is click here. This is extra credit. It was a column that was created manually on the gradebook. So as you can see, okay, I can add the grade here, and then I can provide feedback as well. In order to add feedback, as you can see, I can type in my feedback, or I can also record it as a video. That video recording tool is available both for feedback and for announcements. So I will demo in a moment when I show you the announcements within a course how that works, okay? Because it's the exact same tool. And in case you're wondering, video feedback and video announcements do not take up any of your institution's storage space, okay? It doesn't affect the balance or availability of that. So, a little spoiler alert, once you grade a student's work, you need to post the grade in order for the students to be able to see or check their scores. You don't have to post one by one. I mean, once you're done, once you finish working, then you can go ahead and post all grades. Also, another feature of Ultra is that it usually shows you a little summary of whatever it is that you're looking at. Here, for example, I have 7 more to grade and 1 to post. Remember, posting grades makes them available to students, visible to students, but more on that when we have a session on assessing students' work. And if you have already configured the overall course grade, it will also appear here. Okay, right on the right. But all of these are like demo courses, so they're at different stages of configuration. All right. So those are the most important features that you're probably going to be using here on the Ultra base navigation menu. And right now, let's check out the overall layout of an Ultra course. I'll go to my courses page. I'll use the demo course here. Okay, so this is what an Ultra course looks like. Okay, connection seems to be, there it is. All right, and there are 2 menus. One of them, I mean, you have the course name right up here, the course ID, at the very top left-hand corner of the screen. And here you have the Ultra course menu. Your default landing page is always going to be the content area. Okay, so navigation, the intended navigation of an Ultra course is content-based. So everything, and we'll see how to do that in much more detail during the upcoming sessions. Basically, you build the course structure here directly on the course content page. The primary container, which looks like this, is also known as a learning module. Okay, and this is what the learning module looks like. Now, from here, you can make things visible to students. By default, whenever you're working on something, when you generate or create something from scratch or copy it from another course or import it, etc., the default state is going to be hidden from students. But then again, all you need to do is click where it says hidden from students and either make it visible or set up the release conditions. And for release conditions, you have several options. I'm going to turn off my camera for a moment because my connection is a little slow. Okay, I turned it on just to say hi, basically. There it goes. Okay, so as you can see, you can create multiple rules. So there can be more than one way in which your students can access. It could be an assessment instrument, could be some type of content, could be a module, anything, okay? Anything within your course can be set up in this way. So the first decision is whether this should be available to all class members or to specific members or groups. Let's say you have a group of students who did not do very well during the first half of a semester, and you decide to make some additional content and materials and activities available to them so that they can uh, improve in those areas that they might be struggling with. So you can either create a group of students and make the content available to those students, to members of that group, or individual members. Let's say Ringo Starr and Nina Hagen here would have access to this element. If you want to let's say if you change your mind and you want to delete one of them, just click on the little X here and start again, okay? Should you make a mistake. Normally, however, your content is going to be available to all course members, and then you can indicate the date so they can access this from, let's say, today's the 7th, let's say next Monday at 6 a.m. Okay, it works just like your normal, usual calendar tool. And now, okay, selected date cannot be after the due date. Okay. Let me put it for tomorrow, maybe. Okay, I will change the due date in a moment. So as you can see here, okay, you can indicate access from and access until if you want to have a time limit. In addition to time and date, you can also have performance. Okay, you can combine all three types of criteria if you want. Here, all you need to do is choose a gradable item, okay, and then indicate the minimum grade that they should get. So let's say they need to get 80 points off or higher. Now, you're not limited to just one gradable item. You can use multiple gradable items. Okay, but it is always and, it's not and or, okay, for the configuration of a rule. Then you can add additional rules. So it is possible to have more than one way in which your students can access your content. Now, in addition to a minimum score as a requirement, you could also have a custom range. This is very useful when you want to customize the user experience a little bit. So let's say that you have you're teaching students who just started their studies at the university. And you know how sometimes they come with certain areas that they would need to, ideally would need to work on in order to be fully prepared for undergraduate courses. This usually happens with a basic math or even reading comprehension skills, etc. Okay, many countries. So, what you can do is after an initial assessment, let's say you have a module one that has the same contents for everybody, but then for if you anticipate that there will be students that will be struggling with maybe basic math skills, you can prepare two versions of module two. The first version would be, let's say, the standard content. And the second version will begin with some remedial work, okay, on basic math skills. And now you can use, okay, if on that test they go from 0 points to 50, let's say, just to provide, oh, sorry. Okay, so use points. You can also use a percentage, as you can see. So let's use with from 0 to 50 points, then they will be taken, okay, they will end up accessing that version of module 2, the one with the remedial content. And then you can have another one with 51 to 100, okay, I'm being very random here with my ranges, okay, then they can access the other option or version of module 2. Okay, so once you're done, all you need to do is save, okay, and you're good to go. All members, performance, presentation here, okay, and then you're good to go as I mentioned. All right. So by default, as I mentioned earlier, however, it's going to be hidden from students. And you can apply that to individual items within your course. And you can also, of course, you can use that with actual modules. Like here, for example, under Start here, this is a beginning module. Okay, let me get rid of this here because it was just a sample that I created. Okay, so this is a usual approach to organizing a course. You have a start here or course home section, etc. Here I have some basic information on academic integrity, grading, expectations for technology access and preparation, additional help. I don't need this one here. And then you have scavenger hunt. I'll answer your questions in a moment. I see something posted there in the chat, but I want to finish this idea here. So I like this approach. The scavenger hunt, it's basically a test, and it's a comprehension check. So this is a comprehension check for or about, okay, all of this information which is needed, okay, or at least very useful, and that students will need in order to be well prepared to make it in your course. So let's say, okay, for the scavenger hunt, let's set the due date. The due date is July 11th. Okay, so we're good here. From here, you can simply click on the ellipsis or three dots, or click on Visible to Students, go to Release Conditions, click on Performance, select Scavenger Hunt, indicate that they need 65 points or higher. Now you can add multiple criteria, as you can see here, and click on Save. Now you can have multiple rules. In that way, you're giving people more than one way in which they can access. So one could be performance, and another rule could be date and time, because you don't want people to be locked out of your course. If they do not make it 65 points or higher, then they would not be able to actually move on. So you can combine multiple factors. And then, okay, here you have the release conditions. It is locked to students right now. And here, if you hover over the edit release conditions section, it'll explain to you and also to your students, okay, what the conditions are. One thing, okay, let me go here. Oh, one thing that I was forgetting to mention is that this item will be visible to students by default, but locked, and they will know what the conditions are. However, you could also hide it from students. So in that example that I used about 2 versions of Module 2 based on performance, I would probably hide them so they cannot see that there are 2 versions. Okay, so the students will not be able to see if they do not get a certain grade. That question comes from Kagna. I hope I pronounced it right. It depends, as I was saying. Show, students will be able to see it, but not access it. Hide, students will not be able to see it until the condition has been met. Whenever you want to see what your course will look like to your students, all you need to do is click on Student Preview up here on the right. And it'll give you the ability to view and navigate your course from the perspective of your students. So as you can see here, I have the Start Here section. Progress tracking is enabled. More about progress tracking later. And I have a little progress bar here. And since I just configured this to be available based on performance on the scavenger hunt quiz here, okay, it is visible yet not available. Okay, if I hover over the content isn't available text, it tells me, remember this is a student preview mode, it tells me what condition I have to meet or what the criteria are. Does this clarify this, Kakla?
Sorry?
Does this clarify that there was a question on the chat? I am answering that question.
Oh, okay.
I was about to type something, but I think it is going to be faster. Thank you for the training. It's not about the visibility. I was just trying to understand. So if we set a rule saying that you need to get 70% on this quiz, and if you don't get 70%, you will not be able to go to the next level or the next module. Am I correct? Did I understand it right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. And the criteria always appears here when they hover over that. Okay, let me exit student preview. All right, so this is your course content. Now you have the course calendar. What I showed you before at the beginning was a global calendar. This is a course calendar. The same 3 views. You have today, Monday, the 7th, July the 7th, within this week. If you see a pale or light gray dot, it means that on that day there's some due date or some event. Okay, like this test is due here. You also have the month view. And you have the due dates view. Okay, all 3 dates are available to your students. All 3 views are available to your students. Now, from here, okay, if you want to manually add something to the calendar, all you need to do is click on the plus sign on the right. Now, whenever you create a test, a discussion, an assignment, a journal, etc., anything with a due date, it will be added to your course calendar automatically. You don't need to do anything there, okay? However, you can also manually add items, events, due dates, etc. to your calendar. All you need to do in Ultra in general is look for the plus sign, usually found inside the circle. From here, you can add an event, edit the course schedule, or if you have office hours available to your students, you can enter those here as well. So let's go ahead and edit the course schedule. Let's say you're going to be meeting with your students regularly on a weekly basis, maybe face-to-face, maybe online. Just click on the plus sign to add times to course. Give it a nickname, could be weekly face-to-face workshop. You indicate the starting date. Let's say next Monday at 10 to 11 a.m. Sounds about right. How often should it be repeated? In this case, weekly, every week. It's going to be Mondays only, because as you can see here, I could indicate more than one day. When should it end? After a number of iterations, or maybe on a specific date, in which case you access the calendar, and let's say Monday, August the 25th, and you type in the location, which could be a physical place on the campus or a link if it's going to be online, or both if it's going to be hybrid. In this case, this is face-to-face, so I'll use Classroom 201 and save. If I have meetings at different times on different days, then I can enter those individually. But close here and go back to the course contents page and scroll all the way down. I will find the course schedule here on the right. Okay? And of course, should you want to edit this, all you need to do is click on the little pencil icon. Let's move on to the announcements. As usual, you get a little summary, okay, of what you're looking at here. In this case, 21 have been posted, none have been scheduled, and 5 have been saved as drafts. Okay? So if you want to create an announcement, all you need to do is look for the plus sign, click on it, type an announcement, sample announcement, oops, and then either type your announcement or you can record it as a video. You can do both, actually, okay? But in this case, let's record it as a video. Hopefully, since I was using my camera with Zoom, okay, yeah, I think it's available. Let me maximize this. Enable video. There I am, and that's my vintage Pioneer amplifier from 1974, which still sounds really good on the background. And then all you need to do is start recording. You have 3 seconds, okay, in order to get ready. And then you have up to 5 minutes to record your announcement. Remember, the very same tool is available for feedback, okay? You can pause at any time if you want to go over your notes or something, and then resume. You get the same 3 seconds to get ready. Once you finish or once you run out of time, remember you have 5 minutes, which is a long time for an announcement. You stop recording. You can preview the recording, get ready, and then you have up to 5. If it looks good, you can save and exit and move on. If not, you can delete it and go for take 2. If you save and exit, closed captions will be generated automatically, which will add to the overall accessibility score of your course. Now, you could save it as a draft to be posted later. You can post it right away, or you could schedule the announcement. So you indicate when it should show, and if applicable, also when it should be automatically hidden. Okay? No matter what you do, a recommended practice is to send an email copy to your students, okay? That way, you make it a bit more, that level of redundancy makes it a bit more likely that students will know that there is an announcement for them to see. I'm going to go ahead and post it right away. Okay, and as you can see, this here has been updated. Okay, so that's announcements. You also have the discussions page, more about discussions in a different session. You can access your gradebook, and as you can see, there are 5 different views. The overview, which lets you know whether anything needs grading or any grades need posting. By gradable item, which is basically a list of all the gradable items in your course. By default, all the icons are black. However, they will turn red if they are overdue and not everybody has submitted. You have a grades view, which is a more traditional looking approach with columns and rows. You have a view on your students from which you can access a lot of very useful information, data about your students' performance. Okay. And mastery, it's not always on. It depends on the institution. But if your institution is using the goals tool, which some institutions use for competencies or for certification of the programs, etc., we can discuss that in a different session. Okay, this is very useful. Then you have the messages tool, which I showed you, okay, at the beginning, remember? Very straightforward, just click on new message, indicate who should get the message. Remember, recommended option is to send an email copy to recipient and then type your message here. Analytics. From here, you can get a lot of very interesting data about your students. So here you have the overall grade. They're not doing great, as you can see here. They have the number of missed due dates and the number of hours in the course. Okay, how much time they have spent on your course. Then you have the number of days that have passed since the last time they accessed your course. All of these are critical performance indicator. And as you may have noticed, there is a little flag next to many of these values. Those are alerts that have been generated automatically. And of course, you can change or adjust those settings with this option here on the right, Alert Settings. So as you can see, there are 3 types of alerts. Overall grade, whenever it goes below or equal to whatever percentage value that you indicate. Here in this case, I typed in a 79. Number of missed due dates above or equal. Here I set it to 3. Number of days since last access, above or equal. Here I set it to 7, but of course it could be any number that makes sense in your situation. Then also, okay, here it'll automatically send activity stream notifications to students based on low overall grade and days since last access. This normally I leave enabled because it's a good it's probably a good thing that they know, okay, that they're reminded that, okay, that their performance indicators are not looking that good. We also have the groups tool from here, and here you can create individual groups or group sets. And there are 3 ways in which you can create groups. Custom, okay, in which case you decide who goes to which group. Randomly assigned, just indicate the number of groups. And self-enrollment. Okay, but we'll talk more about that on a different session. Right now, it's more like a guided tour of Ultra. And then, if enabled by your institutions, you also have access to the achievements tool. And the achievements tool basically allows you to create and award badges to your students based on their performance. This is very popular, okay, within the context of gamification, for instance. So all you need to do, okay, is click on New Course Badge, give it a name, say participation, give it a description, okay, congratulations. Blah, blah, blah. And then select the badge image that you would like to use. Choose one gradable item here. Okay, let's see. I don't have one for participation here, but I'll use this one as an example. And then a grade requirement. Okay, you can have multiple performance criteria, and then publish, confirm, and then if any students meet that criterion, then they will be awarded this badge. And as you can see here, once students have been awarded the badge or they have earned the badge, you will be able to access from here. And of course, they will be able to see those as well. What else do we find here? Course settings at the very top right-hand corner of the screen. Which course settings are available will depend on your system admin. Course status, which as I mentioned earlier, is usually handled by your institution. Progress tracking, my recommendation is to leave it on. More about that later. Class roster. Okay, on this setting, as you can see here, only faculty can view the class roster and students cannot. Okay, because maybe of some institutional policy regarding student information. Messages, students' visibility, Mastery Gradebook, visibility settings. But then again, we're going to talk about those in much more detail later on when we're talking about the gradebook, etc. But remember, here I have all of the bells and whistles on. However, okay, you may or may not have access to some of those items in your own instance. And then we have the details and actions menu. From here, you can access a roster. All right. You will see all of your students. And also from here, you have a few options, okay, regarding your students. Let's say Nina Hagen here. In Ultra, every time you see the ellipsis icon, the three dots, if you click on it, you will see what options are available for that item. In this case, you can check out the member information or grant accommodations. And accommodations are there for you to provide your students with more flexibility if they need it. There are two types of accommodations. Due date accommodations, in which case the student's work will never be marked as late. So if on the gradebook you have enabled automatic zeros, that will not affect this particular student. Now, one thing to keep in mind, however, is that when students with accommodations are in a group, all students in that group inherit the accommodation. Also, you have time limit accommodation. Basically, you can either give a student unlimited time for tests, quizzes, and the like, or a specific percentage. Like here, they would have 25% additional time. It applies to everything in your course. Okay? And you can tell very easily if a student has accommodations because you will find this little purple icon next to the student's name. You also have the course description. the course image, okay, which we will take another look at, much closer look at when we're talking about creating content. You have the attendance tool. You have your books and tools. Basically, from here, you can access third-party vendor content that has been integrated by your system admin. And you have your question banks. Question banks, okay, can be copied from another course. They can be generated using the AI design assistant. They can be uploaded, okay, if you have a file, which could have been exported from another Ultra course or maybe provided by a publisher, okay, to accompany their text, maybe, etc. And of course, you can also create one from scratch. So you could generate automatically, import from a file that has been exported from another Ultra course or provided by a publisher. And this is a new feature, okay, added, it's fresh. Okay, import from QTI 2.1 package, okay, which was not available in Ultra before, but it is now. And from here, you can create from scratch. And that's what I wanted to show you today. It's an overview of the main features of an Ultra course and the Ultra base navigation menu. In the upcoming workshops, we're going to see in detail how to create content, assessment instruments, and so forth. Well, we do have a couple minutes. Should you have any questions? Oh, thank you, Nicolette.
And Julian, both of them.
Nicolette, you want to go ahead?
I just wanted to say thank you. That a lot of what is in here is going to simplify. I mean, when you said we could put in the accommodations specific to a student right off the roster, I was cheering silently over here. There's a lot of efficiency built into this that's going to make Blackboard a lot more pleasant to use.
Yes. In a previous life, I was a customer of Blackboard. I was online director at a university with a little over 60,000 students and a couple thousand faculty members. And yeah, back in the day, they also migrated from another platform to Blackboard, and adoption was made very easy because it was very user-friendly. And I am from Lima, Peru, based in Bogota, Colombia. But I work mainly with US universities and government institutions, and the level of the ease of adoption is very high. Okay, faculty are usually quite positively impressed with how easy it was to incorporate this into their repertoire of tools. So, well, thank you very much. I do have another session in about a minute and a half, so I need to go.
Sorry, quickly, Julian, can you just quickly say?
Yeah, I just had a very quick question. When you mentioned that on the profile page for the students, there's the purple icon that shows they have accommodations. I was just wondering if that means the accommodations have been approved in my course or for every course.
Oh,
so
no,
if another
no.
professor approves it.
It's not on the profile page, it's on the roster. So it's only for your course.
On the roster, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay, so on the roster, does that mean that those accommodations have been approved by me, just me, or that other professors will also see that that student has accommodations
If there's
in their
more
other courses?
Oh, in their other courses, no. The only way in which, I mean, accommodations are course specific. Okay? So if, let's say, John Snow is taking Math 101 and English 101, and you're teaching him English 101, and you give him an accommodation, that doesn't affect, okay, the other courses at all.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, Fausto. I know that you have to go. Thank you very much. It was fantastic. And Stephen, that will be addressed in future webinars. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for attending this session.
Bye-bye, everybody. Take care.
Take care.